read this a long time ago, Shakespeare. To thine own self be true. To thine own self be true. And we've been talking about vision and euphoric vision. But the interesting thing is, if you haven't noticed, you have stages in your life where you know, especially when you're young. When you're young, you're irresponsible, so you just want to play. You know, I look at them; they're young, and they want to play. But I remember my son transitioning. You know, you're a teenager, you got more responsibility, but he wanted to play. But like, it's something in you when you're young, like you think it's gonna last forever. Like you think you're gonna play forever. And yes, but you prioritize it, you cross over into responsibility. But it's something in us that I just wanna play. Like, but you know, remember challenging him, okay, there's a time to play, but you're gonna have to handle business. You really enjoy playing when you handle your business first, right? Ain't that right? Doing what's best first. That was your number one line, right? All right, so you watch these different stages. As you go through these different stages, something tries to overtake you, like God's vision and what He's purposed to do. And you know, the first stage of the new responsibility can be intimidating. You know, it's like this new thing can be intimidating, like almost like no, but I'm good right here. Like, you know, like when you're sweet in high school, you know, remember you know, you missed the football or whatever. Like you good right there. Like you could just ride that out. But now you got to go to this new university where everybody's sweet. So now you got to reestablish yourself. But you would rather just stay at the high school, because at the high school, you know, everywhere you walk, what's up? Yeah, what's up? Like everybody's speaking to you. You know, like, you know, good game. Oh, you phenomenal. But now you got to go to this next level where you're not as popular. But okay, so you get through that. You get to that college stage. So then you master college. And when you master that, you sweet again, right? But now you got to go to the world. You got to go out here to, you know, like, I'm good. I'm just going to stay in college. You ever while you were in college, you noticed there was like older guys, like old guys, like, but they still on campus? You know, I mean, they're like 8, 9 years older, but they rolling on campus like they sweet, but they sweet because they older than everybody. Like, you're like, and so, but after a while, you're like, why are you here hanging with us? You know, you're still trying to get the shine of, you know, yeah, back in '87, we won the title. Like, so you got to stay on campus so you're significant. But that person was supposed to cross over into another level. But each level has a big impact. And you're tempted to, remember we talked about when it's time to birth, to tighten up. Something's causing us to, our strength to be weakened when we retreat, as opposed to press forward. You know, we're looking to rest when we should be inspired to push. I wanted to take a minute. I'm going to have you guys share how all this stuff has been really impacting y'all this week, even especially what Pastor Melanie said. But before I have them open their mouth over here, just some questions. What's been challenging for you to embrace all of God, what God has for you? So what's been the toughest thing? What do you think has been the toughest thing for you to press into what God has for you, to engulf all of it? Because you know you can't control fulfillment, right? Did y'all know that? So well, I guess you know it, because that's why some people retreat. Because they only step into what they think they can control. But you know what God has for you, you can't control. Like you have to just yield to it. You know, and it's tough because you're used to, oh, I can't control that, so that can't be from God. Oh, yeah, no, yes, it is. It's from God. Because to participate in fulfillment, you have to be yielding to God all the time. But a lot of times we run from that because we want to just take what we can control. But He said exceedingly abundantly above all you can ask or think. He talked about, I came that you might have life abundantly, right? He said your cup is going to run over. Like you can't control the spill. It's like, you know, like everywhere you turn, it's just spilling all over the place. You ever fill the cup up to the top where it's pouring, it's just constantly pouring out? Like you just can't catch it all, right? But that's the whole idea, because it's gonna spill off onto somebody else, right? All right, so what's been challenging? What's stopped? Or what's, like when you get to that point, what stopped you from having the strength to birth, to bring forth? Go ahead, you got the mic. That's why you got the mic? Yeah. No.
That's why I took it. But for me personally.
Right, so what he said was good. And actually, I think we had this conversation. Because, so you being transparent, but if I talk about you, can I be transparent? All right, good. I was going to do that anyway, but I just figured I'd act like. All right, so, okay, so Minister Nate Denton, he's called the pastor. So, you know, he called up, we were talking about it. And so what he just said, I just remember, is one of the things he said is what he wanted to know about. He said, so what do I do with the fear of the unknown? So what I was telling him is actually a part of the whole process. You know, there's going to be uncertainty. Like we talked about the stages of starting a church, especially in a place we're not from. So it wasn't like we played ball in the city or we grew up in the city and we had all these friends. We had never been to Charlotte in our life. And I said, so the first stage we went through was uncertainty. Uncertainty looks like this. Okay, we were in a dance studio, and so there's no other rooms or seats or anything, you know, so I ain't had no office or nothing. So well, some of y'all know that already because you were there. But so normally if you come in, I'm in the back, you know. But the way it worked is I would at one time with me and my wife there, I'd be standing at the door, almost like so we were in a awkward location. So if you didn't really know where you were going, you could drive by. So I would be like, you know, well maybe acting like, I didn't tell her this, but I would like walk outside acting like I was getting some air, but I was hoping like if somebody's driving by that maybe was getting lost, they see me. You know what I'm saying? Oh, that's the spot right there. Yeah, that's the spot.
You didn't notice, but I would watch him do that. And he thought that he was doing what he was doing for me, but I was actually feeling sorry for him. So sad.
Keeping it real, it's like, cause what? It's uncertain. You don't know who's coming. Just being real, you just don't. So like, okay, our first service we had 46 people. So we had 46 people. Then the second service, I think we had like 8. The third service went like this. So we started 9 o'clock. So 9 o'clock, it's me and my wife. 9:10, me and my wife. 9:15, me and my wife. 9:20, me and my wife. 9:25, me and my wife. So I said, babe, I guess you'll be singing to me and I'll be preaching to you today. 9:30, somebody comes. Young lady and her daughter, Cynthia and her daughter. That was it that day. 2 people. Each week, because there is no core remnant, you just start. The core remnant is me and my wife. Each week, you don't know who's coming. If, you know, so you have 15 one week. You don't know if the 15 coming back because no relationship has been established. So they might enjoy the church and go, you know, I'm sleeping this week. Because see, we're not in a relationship, so it's not like they have something they have to do. So they just freelancing. I might come, might not. Not knowing, we sitting there going, anybody come? It was uncertainty. It was the uncertainty stage. But then we crossed over to what we call the core stage, where there were a core of people that you knew were at least coming. Could have been 10, could have been 15, 20, or whatever, but it was a core. Like you knew somebody's gonna be here this week. Right? You just knew, like, okay. So you did, but there still was uncertainty. Anybody else coming? You know, but you knew, so you went to the core, and then you went to the addition, and we're crossing over to a whole nother level now, but I'm just saying, but it went through the stage, but the uncertainty was a part of it. In the uncertainty stage, it's, do you trust me? in the uncertainty stage, you're tempted to look at what you see, but not what God sees. See, the scripture says, look not on the things that you see, for they're temporal. So what we saw in that stage, that was temporary. So God was like, don't focus on this. Look on the things that you can't see, for they're eternal. So like Jesus came and endured the cross, which is what he could see. The scripture says because of the glory that was set before him. So he really didn't see the cross. He saw himself on the right hand of the Father. So now let's think about the distractions from our time in the presence of God. If we're distracted enough, all we'll see is what's tangible. And we'll make our decisions on the tangible. If we consume of the world enough, every decision we make, you know how sometimes even financially, you'll make decisions based on what you see every day. You're not making decisions based on what he is showing you. So it's the same thing. In the uncertainty stage, in that wilderness stage, you got to press into God at a level where you see what he sees. Because that's what keeps you through those stages. You'll have a peace in a wilderness. You'll have a peace when it's uncertain to the natural, but it's certain to the spiritual man. So you're moving on certainty within, even though there's uncertainty without. And so anytime you feel that the uncertainty without is overriding the certainty within, that's flooding yourself with more word. Because what? The entrance of the word bringeth light. It gives understanding to the simple. Anytime you feel funky, you just get more word. Bring more light in and you'll start to see clearer into what God's doing. It's Psalms 119, 130. All right, so hopefully that helps out. You have a thought back?
Yeah, I did. Has been uncertain.
Very good.
Relationships that we've gotten in, we didn't know how that was going to play out. Some of us have been playing. So we have the ability to walk life with uncertainty. When you smoke your first cigarette, think about it, just getting high. I mean, I know marijuana was my choice of drug. But I didn't know, the uncertainty of not knowing what that effect was going to do to me. Or the moments, the moments of pleasure. So we all have the ability to walk up. We don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. As much as you think you're in control, we really don't know what's going to happen. So really, you've been living. See, we've been living uncertainty for the enemy. Well, God is saying this morning, you've already been living uncertainty, a life of uncertainty. So really, you just keep walking. Like, okay, I was in this. Oh, that's why you got me in that situation. Oh, that's what happened. Why that happened to me. It was uncertainty before it happened. All have the ability to live life with uncertainty. Forever. I did it for the enemy. I was uncertain where he was taking me. But why can't I be certain with you? You're the one created me, not the enemy. He had me tricked. All have the ability. That's going to be awesome.
That's good. Anybody else? Go ahead. All right, what he said, in terms of experiences, which we all have them, and really the adversary tries to be so slick, he tries to amplify. Like, he's the one that entices you to make the choice outside of God, but then he's also the one that tries to magnify that choice. He tries to keep it before you. False evidence appearing real. Tries to keep that picture. Can't believe you did that. Why would you do that? Well, the chances of you getting through that, look what you did the last time. But the scripture says, forget the things that are behind you and press toward the mark of the prize of the high calling. It says press towards. And I just gave you 2 Corinthians 4:18. Look not on the things that